Welcome, Secretary of State. Welcome all of our guests who have joined us remotely and all the people in Headley Court. Hello, my name is Daniel Elkerles and I am privileged to be the Chief Exec of the amazing institution that is Epsom and St Helier Hospitals, which hosts the equally amazing Surrey Downs Health and Care, which is our multi-agency provider partnership to deliver great care to older people in this part of Surrey, and which is going to take responsibility for delivering the services in this great new centre. I also wanted to say I'm really proud to be a leader in the health and care system in the place of Surrey, because what you're going to, I hope, see in the next half an hour is the most extraordinary team effort that has taken place between all of the NHS and the Surrey County Council over the last 35 days. It was only 35 days ago that the modelling said that we think we needed extra rehabilitation capacity in the county. Between then and today, we have commissioned, equipped and staffed a brand new centre to look after patients mostly likely to be recovering from COVID. So I'm just now going to introduce you to all the people in this room, and then the last person who we'll introduce will be Councillor Tim Oliver, who is the leader of Surrey County Council, who's going to begin the story. So first I'd like to introduce you to my Chief Financial Officer, Rakesh.
Hello, my name is Rakesh Patel and I'm the Chief Finance Officer at Epsom and St Helier Hospital. But over the past few weeks, I've had the privilege of being Senior Responsible Officer at NHS Secole. There is no doubt that the hard work of everyone working at NHS Secole will help to save lives. This facility will also help us to keep vulnerable people out of acute hospitals unless they really need those services. And really importantly, it will be instrumental in helping their rehabilitation. We also feel NHS Secole will play a major role as we move towards the next phase of the NHS. Thank you.
So now Arlene, Chief Nurse.
Hello, my name is Arlene Wellman and I'm the Chief Nurse at Epsom and St Helier Hospital. On behalf of the team here at the NHS Secole Centre, I must say what a privilege it is for me personally and for the team to be able to deliver care in a facility bearing the Secole name. This is a fitting tribute to the diversity of our teams. As we move into the weeks and months of the recovery and rehabilitation of COVID patients, our teams stand proud to be able to provide care to the patients that need us. The next steps will require hard work, dedication, and commitment from a lot of people from many different backgrounds with different roles and different disciplines, and we stand here ready to deliver. Thank you.
And now Joanna.
Good morning. I'm Chief Exec of Surrey County Council, but I've also been co-chair of Surrey Local Resilience Forum for the last few weeks. And I just want to say we've been working as a resilience forum 24/7 to make sure that we could protect the NHS, save lives and support our most vulnerable communities. I'm absolutely delighted to be here at this opening, which is a real triumph of the LRF partnership, producing a facility that will be incredibly supportive to both the NHS and for our people here in Surrey. I want to pay particular tribute to Dave Hill from Surrey County Council and Karen Thornburn from Surrey Heartlands and all the fantastic support we've had from our military colleagues who together in the early days of the LRF identified these needs and have worked tirelessly over the last few weeks to get this facility up and running. It's extraordinary. I'd also like to say thank you to Daniel Elkerles and our partners across both Epsom and St Helier and Surrey Heartlands, who have taken on this project with zeal and enthusiasm, with professionalism, expertise, and the dedication that we've become so used to as partners in both health and social care across Surrey. And a big, huge thank you to all the staff who will be working here, both clinical and support staff, who will be on the front line of delivering care to some most vulnerable people from Surrey, and what a tribute it will be for them.
Morning, Secretary of State. You may already be aware that Headley Court has a tremendously rich history, and as you'll have seen from the drone video, it's an incredible environment here for the rehabilitation of patients recovering from COVID-19. It was built in 1889, and after the Second World War became a rehabilitation centre for injured pilots and air crew, and then later becoming the Defence Services Medical Rehabilitation Centre, and treating more than 20,000 patients a year. Can I add my thanks to all those that have made this facility what it is and stood it up within just a matter of weeks. It is really quite incredible. And I think a really great example of the close partnership working between the NHS and between Surrey County Council through the work and the coordination of the Local Resilience Forum. There are already tremendously strong links within all of the component parts of Surrey Heartlands ICS, and I think this has just been another good example of how that working can really manifest itself in a tremendous facility. The facility itself will provide, hopefully will relieve pressure on our care homes and on our hospitals as we go forward through the rest of this dreadful virus. But I believe it will enable us to deliver some really great outcomes for our residents. This is, I do believe, a real exemplar of the close working relationship between the health system and local government. And if anything, it really demonstrates the huge benefits there are in that really close integration between health and social care. For my part, I couldn't be more proud of what's been achieved here, and it's thanks to all of the people, some of whom you'll be seeing during the rest of the tour. So we are now going to meet the estates and maintenance team as we continue through that virtual tour.
Hi, I'm Trevor, and I'm the Director for Estates and Facilities at Epsom St Helier. Here we're going to show you some of the mammoth work that's been undertaken to transform Headley Court into NHS Secole. I have some of my team here, and first of all, introducing you to Catherine Berwick, who's the Programme Director. And behind me I have Jim Walters, who's Head of Estate, and we have Ed and Pat from contractors called Gender. And I'm now going to pass you over to Darren Talbot, who's been the Programme Manager for Surrey County Council, leading some of the estate work.
Thanks very much, Trevor. Secretary of State, guests, what we'd like to do now is just take you through the journey. So really helping you picture the scene on the first day here. We arrived on a recce on the 30th of March 2020 to an overgrown 82-acre site with a Grade 2 listed building and a plethora of abandoned and semi-derelict clinical and admin buildings. They were suffering from failed power, drainage, unsafe water supplies, and numerous other afflictions that you'd expect after they'd just been turned off and walked away from over 2 years ago. Within a couple of days, we'd restored temporary power and water. We had felled unsafe trees. We'd unblocked and unlocked gates that had been disused for years. And we'd also drawn up plans to restore buildings to a clinical function, but at that point not knowing exactly what that clinical function was going to be. This was achieved with a team of over 50 trades sourced through one of our framework contractors, Corrigenda, led by Pat and Ed. Once the buildings had been recommissioned, we moved into the transition phase, where we started the clinical fit out, and we were then working closely with the on-site NHS team, led by Jim and his team. Simultaneously, we worked with the Local Resilience Forum, who you've heard much about, to build the Pan Surrey body storage facility to create additional local capacity. This is now operational on site. Catherine?
Thank you. So in amongst all this construction, we decided to introduce a multi-agency programme and operations team who got about recruiting 120 staff, cabling the site for IT, enabling the tech, ensuring that we actually got coffee to the site every day for the workers. Oh, and we also found time to celebrate the medical director's birthday. Cakes are essential. Equipment then started to arrive on the site, so the amazing work of the procurement team, who managed to get 400 different orders within days starting to arrive on site so that we could move the clinical buildings into their readiness state and kit out the accommodation, the catering, the mess, and the areas such as the training rooms ready for use by staff on arrival. We couldn't have done this without the most fantastic set of volunteers, led by Eric, who's behind me as well today. We had volunteers from SES Water, from Intec, Environ, and a whole host of local tradespeople joined us. We were donated vans by Toyota to help us move things around the site. And in a single morning, 52 bedrooms of flat pack furniture donated by IKEA were put up. It was an incredible sight to see. With all this work going on, we still found time to show a few visitors around, and we've been very fortunate to have leaders from the NHS South East region, from Surrey County Council, the MOD and Surrey Heartlands, who've come along to meet staff while they've been at work and to thank them for their efforts as we have been busy over the last few weeks. So today we reach day 35. We say goodbye now to the construction teams and a massive thank you for all that they've done. And we encourage them to sleep for a week because we think they need it after 35 days on site. We transition today to a site that is now hospital ready and is able to receive its first patients.
Thank you, everyone. So now I'm going to hand you over to our next Zoom room and our wonderful Surrey Downs Health and Care team.
Welcome. I'm Dr. Marlon Farnsworth, and I'm one of 2 consultants on our team that are specialists in frailty and general internal medicine. I'm joined in this room by clinical colleagues, all working as part of Surrey Downs Health and Care team. Blessing, Chirag, Simon, and Shaz. We thought it would be interesting to share some of our experience of treating patients with COVID-19. As frailty consultants, we work both in the acute hospital and also on our frailty units. We also support our clinical teams that look after patients in their own homes and in the community hospitals. We've been learning very rapidly about COVID-19. And what we're finding is that these patients can deteriorate very, very quickly. And the recovery can be unstable, sometimes requiring very complex treatments and interventions and support for a longer period of time. This can be medicines, oxygen therapy, rehabilitation. This is best provided by a team of professionals that bring a variety of skills. We need solid community services to allow patients to recover and return home. This is in line with our commitment to patient-centered care and very much at the very heart of the Secole Centre. It continues to be difficult times for everyone, but thankfully we've been able to support and treat many patients with COVID-19. Reflecting on this, I think it's fair to say that it would be difficult to do in the hospitals, in the community hospitals, and at home without our one team ethos and our multidisciplinary team ways of working. For example, last week our team was immensely proud not only to support one of our older COVID patients back home to his wife at age 95, but also to bring home a younger patient who had been receiving ventilatory support in critical care. Working together to enable patients to recover and return back to their loved ones is a very strong force that will keep us going. I'll now hand over to Shaz.
Good afternoon, Secretary of State. My name is Dr. Shazid Karim. I'm a local GP, the clinical lead GP for one of our primary care networks, and also have medical responsibility for one of our community hospitals. Therefore, throughout this pandemic, I've had exposure and experience to quite a wide range of settings, from care homes, community services, general practice, and as well as community hospitals. As you know, and as one can imagine, it's been a very stressful time for patients, carers, and our staff. And that's been the same across all the settings that I've just mentioned. But what I've been most impressed with is the speed and the willingness of teams to employ new ways of working, to work in different settings and in different ways, be that remote consultations in general practice, be that working in an integrated home visiting service, or providing an MDT approach and support to our care homes. Focusing on our community hospitals, their roles have changed immeasurably over the past few weeks. And I'm very proud to say that our teams have upskilled and have been able to look after sicker patients and provide ongoing rehabilitation so these patients can get home in a timely and safe manner. Patients who have suffered strokes, who have had falls leading to fractures, and simultaneously been coping with the symptoms of COVID-19 have been able to receive excellent care by the team at Surrey Downs Health and Care and across all the facilities in our area. As Marlin mentioned, there are always some heartfelt stories, and just this morning when I was at the community hospital I look after, I was sitting down with an 88-year-old gentleman who unfortunately had been through the COVID-19, but was now overcoming it and was looking forward to going home to his wife, whom he hadn't seen for over 2 months. I therefore very much look forward to working with the Secole Centre team so that we can continue to provide care for the most frail and vulnerable patients in our society as we continue to fight the threat of COVID-19. Thank you for your time. Over to Simon.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Simon Littlefield and I'm the Director of Nursing and Quality for Community Services in Surrey Downs and Sutton. It falls to me to sum up our shared reflections and experiences during this period and take them forward as we establish the Secole Centre. You've heard how our clinical teams have worked together during this very challenging time by bringing our clinicians from health together with those from social care and from care homes, and how we've united to provide support to the most vulnerable in our community. Working together as one team with one goal, we have found joint solutions to new ways of working, sharing knowledge and skills, as well as vital resources at a time that's presented us with so many challenges. Marlin has talked about the increased physical needs of our patients, but I'd like to highlight their emotional needs. And I think one of the most powerful memories from this time and moments is hearing of a patient who's been supported to make a video call to their family at home and to their pet. And hearing this morning of somebody in our community hospitals that has had a member of staff read out letters to them from a loved one. And it makes all the difference to their stay with us. I'm impressed every day by the care and compassion that our teams show to our patients. I'm also impressed by the support and compassion that we show to each other during this time and the role that we play as a team in looking after each other. Our staff have been redeployed and they've been supported in new skills, and we've taken time to not only reflect on the difficulties, but also the positives that have come out of this and our new ways of working and our new team members. For me, taking this into Secole will be the key to its success for both patients and for staff. To have the Secole Centre at the heart of our community will enable us to develop these relationships and continue to support the most vulnerable in the right place to meet their needs now and in the future. I'll now hand over to Dr. Hilary Floyd in the Clinical Operations team.
Thank you.
Hello, welcome to this virtual tour. My name is Dr. Hilary Floyd and I am a GP in the Epsom area for the last 28 years. You've already heard about the wonderful work that Surrey Downs Health and Care is doing, and I am privileged to also be medical director from its start and can really vouch it's made a difference to our patients. Today, however, I'm talking to you in my new role as medical director for NHS Secole Centre. Here, together with my colleagues, Sarah, Claudine, Debbie and Mary, we have taken the challenge to establish this facility as a centre of excellence for those recovering from COVID-19. As Daniel has said, we are now ready to be accepting patients that require more care before they go home, but also from the community that may not be able to control their symptoms and need the care of another facility. COVID-19 is a horrible illness, and recovery from it takes quite a long time. It is a frightening and traumatic experience for the patients as they're separated from their loved ones. Here at NHS Secole, we see this as a place of recovery where patients can have patient-centred care around their needs and those of their loved ones. We will ensure that they are treated with dignity and respect that they require and they deserve, and that we will give them the best journey to recover through a integrated, holistic, patient-centred, one-team ethos approach. We are, as a team, really honoured and privileged to be responsible for the care of these patients on their way home. After all, home is the very best place for them to be. This is a Surrey-wide service, and as a GP, I'm used to working quickly and flexing to change. However, I've been amazed at the response from our colleagues and clinicians across Surrey as to how quickly we've been able to get this model working. With that support, I feel very confident that this facility will be greatly appreciated and used and serve our community well, and I'm proud to be part of this. I'm now going to hand over to Debbie, who's going to talk about recruitment and staffing.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Debbie Atile, and I'm Director of People for Epsom St Helier. Since we began on the 10th of April, we've managed to recruit around 19 members of staff. That means our diverse teams are ready to go whenever you need us. I'd like to say a huge thank you to all the health and care, social care organisations who have supported us during this time and have agreed to second staff to work in this facility. We have capitalised on the love and support the NHS has at present in our recruitment campaign, and we have also offered benefits to the Secole Centre that will make us a great place to work. One of the benefits is free accommodation for staff who wish to stay overnight. High quality accommodation, I might add. Thank you.
So it's now down to me to conclude by handing you over for the official opening of the Secole Centre. In the following room, you'll see more guests and other members of the Secole team that will take you through the unveiling. So thank you.
Thanks very much indeed. Thank you.
So, Secretary of State, I hope you enjoyed your virtual tour of Headley Court. So you've now arrived in the unveiling room for the back, and Marcus, who's now standing behind the laptop that I'm looking at, is going to just swivel the laptop so you can see everybody in the room.
Very good. Hello, everybody. I'm glad to see you're all suitably socially distant. Hello, Chris.
Hello there. And the person sitting next to Chris, who the camera is coming on, this is Trevor Sterling, who's chair of the Secole Trust, who you're going to invite to open the plaque in a minute with. Okay. Now, I think we have a few minutes for some question and answer session. If anyone would like to do any Q&A. And we thought we should start with the people who are dialed in remotely, if they have any questions or comments about anything you have seen. And here the etiquette works, that if you want to ask a question, you put your hand up and we can see on the screen, and then we can, the Secretary of State, well, I can see that, that's very good. Right, so fire away.
So I'm going to say a few words formally to open it in a minute, and at that point I'll say thanks. But I have one question that struck me going through this. In fact, two. One is about the here and now, what you've done over the past month, which is amazing. And a question really of how we capture this can-do spirit that is necessary in the crisis so that we can do things this fast afterwards. And then I've got a second question, which is afterwards, who knows when that will be, but afterwards, what plans have you got for using Headley Court for recuperation and restoration over the long term?
So to answer the question for the can-do, do you reckon the right person is Anne Eden, the Regional Director for the South East?
Hello. In terms of capturing the can-do spirit, I mean, what I've always been impressed about across the South East region, I think it's fair to say, is this real sense of partnership. And I think here you've seen it absolutely writ large, focusing on a population, the needs of the population, and keeping them at the heart of what we do, I think that has made a big difference. So regardless of which agency people are coming from, and you can see all the key players here, people have just absolutely stepped forward and done just that. And it never ceases to amaze me in terms of the innovation the people have taken on board. And so what we have said that we need to do to capture this is that we're absolutely determined that there will be a legacy, a really positive legacy that comes out of the coronavirus, and that we will absolutely, we won't go back. There will be a new normal, much more positive, much more inclusive. And I think the other thing for me to say is that also in the Southeast, one of the values that has driven us is to be really inclusive and to have that great diversity that you've seen today. And again, that's something that we're going to continue to build on as we go forward. So I would like also to add my thanks, and absolutely phenomenal in terms of the journey that you've been on, and also the technology I think has absolutely blown me away. So thanks one and all.
So in answer to the second question, Secretary of State, I think if the NHS Secole Centre Headley Court works and lots of people are benefiting from it, my understanding is there is a good conversation to be had with the property developer who has bought Headley Court from the MOD about keeping part of the site for the future. We think that we are going to want to do that because the buildings are actually now in a fantastic condition and could definitely provide great care for a good 15 to 20 years in the future. So we are expecting that this will be a long-term set of buildings for the NHS and social care in Surrey, but clearly there's a lot of negotiation that has to happen.
Right. Okay.
Would anyone else who is online like to ask a question?
Like Yvonne has a question.
It's not so much a question, but it's a bit of a statement. First of all, I'd like to congratulate you all on this phenomenal achievement. It's brilliant, but want to say that this is the first Secole Centre, and that means so much to so many people in the NHS. I cannot tell you how important this is. It's making me feel emotional actually now, just actually being part of this and seeing this. So thank you all so much for all that you're doing and what you have done. And the thing for me is about legacy, and there was a question about what are we going to be doing afterwards with regards to after COVID with all of this. And I think that what you said, Daniel, was fantastic. If we can actually keep this going, I think it will mean so much to so many people. So thank you.
Anyone else? Peter, you can see from online? In which case, I'm going to just move position and move to the room. The next thing that we need to do is we need to do the formal part of the ceremony. So, Secretary of State, you're about to move to face the plaque. But before you do your speech, Ruth May would like to say a few words.
Hello, and thank you so much for allowing me to be part of this amazing opening. Secretary of State and I were together at the opening of the Nightingale Hospital, but this beats it hands down for me in terms of emotional love for this. So whilst we're living through our biggest challenge that the country has ever seen, particularly from the basis of what we're needing for our NHS, over 150 years ago, the pioneering British Jamaican nurse Mary Secole faced the similar challenges. During the Crimean War, Mary set up community-based quarters for primary healthcare for the treatment and rehabilitation of the sick and the wounded. Mary was renowned for delivering hands-on, holistic care across the variety of settings. And so rehabilitation, the Mary Secole Centre, is absolutely fitting for me that this centre is now named the Secole Centre, reflecting the values of good citizenship, community service and inclusion that defines Mary herself. I am delighted to be part of today's opening. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ruth. So I think it now comes to you, Secretary of State, and when you have finished, then Trevor and Sarah will come and, on your instruction, pull the cord. So,
right.
Okay.
Well, thank you very much, and thanks for allowing me to take part virtually in this tour and this official opening. And I'm sorry that circumstances mean that I can't travel, because technology has made it possible for us to talk and to celebrate the achievements over this past short 5 weeks that you've accomplished together. Thank you very much for the tour. It was unbelievably impressive hearing all of the different factors that have to come together and all of the different people who have to come together to make something like this happen so fast. If you look at the pictures with the puddles on the floor from just 5 weeks ago, who could have possibly thought at that time that so effectively the work together with so many different people could have created the first Mary Secole Centre for the NHS and for the people of Surrey to recover from coronavirus. We knew at the start of this crisis that we were going to have to prepare for the worst whilst we work for the best. And we knew that that meant increasing the capacity right across the NHS. And capturing that can-do spirit that has pulled this together has been an incredible part of what we've seen. And I think one of the reasons that the public holds the NHS in the highest esteem now than it ever has. And just like the Nightingale hospitals, you have played your part in making that happen, because you have turned a disused facility into something that is going to be vital for the rehabilitation of many, many people in an unbelievably short amount of time. I also want to pay tribute to the flexibility that everybody's shown. The flexibility of the clinical model and being able to pull that together so quickly, the flexibility of the council, of the trust, of the wider NHS and the military all working together. And I'm delighted that the Secole Centre is going to be named after such a remarkable woman, Mary Secole, who taught us so much about modern nursing and about modern medical practice, and played her part in her era of bringing medicine and bringing nursing into the 21st, into her time, in the same way that you're bringing it into the 21st century now. I want to say a big thank you. Daniel, thank you to you and the role of the trust and your leadership team. Thank you to Joanna and everyone at Surrey County Council. One of the things we've learned in this crisis is that when the NHS and local councils pull together and work together, they can achieve wonders. Thank you to Rakesh and Arlene and Pat and Ed and everybody involved in the operational delivery. Thank you to the military who have played their part. This is, of course, a former military hospital that is now going to be used as a civilian hospital for the first time. Thank you to everybody, public and private, who played their part in the construction of the new Mary Secole Centre, NHS Secole. And you have helped us to take this big step forward in the fight against coronavirus. And you also have helped us to be able to say with confidence that the NHS is open for anyone who needs it. It is, I think, the #1 achievement of the British response to coronavirus is that the NHS has always been there for everybody who's needed it. And I pay tribute to you and your part that you've played in making this happen. And I'm now honoured to invite Trevor Sterling from the Mary Secole Trust, and Ruth May has declared it officially to declare this hospital open, and then Trevor and Sarah to be able to do what I can't do from here, which is formally to get those blue curtains open.
Are you ready for a good clap when you do the chord? Okay, you look, 3, 2, 1.